three Baltic states are going to allow this Congress to take place. It looks like the Congress will take place. Whether these individuals who have been entrusted with a mandate to participate and who are being waited with open arms will take place remains to be cleared up today. We are having a plane going at 12:10 from Arlanda directly to Tallinn. Some of these ladies and gentlemen are going to be on it. In fact, they have to leave the press conference early at about 10 in order to make the connection. Others will be following tonight on the Silja line at 6. I believe that you gentlemen and ladies of the press, if you're interested in photo opportunities, you can either use Arlanda Airport today, SAS, or the Silja line, where we're not sure how many people are going to be gathering for the send-off, but because this is all taking place on very short notice, but at 1700 hours at 5 o'clock in the afternoon at the Silja line, a large contingent of emigre Estonians is going to be going to Helsinki first, transferring to the Georg Ots in Helsinki tomorrow morning, and attempting to gain access to the Estonian Congress. I hear Meido Kari, who, if this contingent can be said to have a leader, obviously is it. He is the president of the Estonian World Council, which represents Estonian emigre organizations throughout Europe, in Australia, in the United States, and Canada. The Estonian World Council is an umbrella organization. I'm happy to have Meido Kari here today. We would like to make these introductory remarks as brief as possible. Nonetheless, I think it's necessary to clear up the concept first of the Estonian Congress. What is it? Where did it come from? What does it aspire to? One thing's for sure, that it's the first essentially alternative or oppositional parliamentary body. I have a yellow press information here on it. In the Soviet Union. It's the first non-Soviet one. While the Soviet authorities, under conditions of glasnost and perestroika, have not outright stopped the elections to the Estonian Congress from taking place, they are certainly not giving any help either. There's been a press blockade up until now in Estonia that they're slowly breaking through. There is the issue, there are press kits here, I hope everyone has one. There's a press release in here on the third page, I believe, about a break-in and sabotage at the Estonian press headquarters, at the Estonian, General Committee headquarters in Tallinn a few days ago, which we're calling the Estonian Watergate. 2 computers with election results were stolen. We have reason even to believe that the guards in the building were perhaps drugged, and they ransacked the rooms. We are, on the one hand, mildly thankful that this has not been obstructed in a more radical way, but we're certainly not getting outright cooperation either. The Congress concept was introduced a year ago at the Estonian Independence Day festivities in occupied Estonia on the 24th of February in Tallinn. The idea was introduced by 3 organizations: the Estonian National Independence Party, the Estonian Heritage Society, and the Christian Union. And they began immediately with the formation of Estonian citizens' committees. This is a grassroots movement, and it's blossomed, spread across the country. There are over 140 citizens' committees in Estonia. Of the 950,000 approximately Estonian citizens or rather descendants and Estonian citizens, descendants of Estonian citizens and Estonian citizens in Estonia, in other words, 950,000 people of Estonian ethnic stock, they've registered in Estonia nearly 700,000. And if you look at the Citizens Committee's movement, I think you'll find it to be quite remarkable. It's something completely unique in the Eastern Bloc. Even in Czechoslovakia, I would say that they don't have anything that's as well organized. If you look at it from up down, if you take the airplane view, the bird's eye view, it's completely spread across the country as a network. If you look at it from the side, it's a pyramid on 3 levels. There are regional levels, there's the General Committee at the top, and 140 bodies, citizens' committees at the bottom. Completely grassroots. Differs from the Saiudis, for example, in the sense that it is not a pro-perestroika movement. I mean, in a sense it is, of course. We're thankful for perestroika that it created the conditions for this, but nonetheless it's alternative, it's oppositional. We do not seek to have an umbilical cord to the Soviet Union. We want complete independence. We want withdrawal of Soviet occupation troops.
And it's totally irrelevant. They might stop us at the Tallinn airport, Tallinn harbor. They are welcome if they wish, but that doesn't change. I mean, we are just small pawns in the game of history, and it's evident that whatever they do with us, Estonia will continue on its peaceful road to independence and to real good neighborly relations.
Наблюдали неопознанный человеческий предмет. Не может быть. Я наблюдал достаточно далеко, и я даже не мог представить, что это, ну, так сказать...
Comrade Mikhail Sergeyevich, it would be to accept the peaceful transition, to stop the Russian economic boycott of the peaceful road to independence, and to become the first leader of an empire to accept the peaceful transition of its present colonies. If that becomes the case, I'll be the first to book Mr. Gorbachev as the Nobel Peace Prize laureate. He's certainly not worth it yet, but it would be nice if it would become it.
If you have any questions, Lars, are you leaving at 10 as well? Do you have to catch up? No, you don't. Please, if you have any questions for these two, for this gentleman and lady.
Quickly interject here. I think some of you may be interested in what might happen when we arrive in Tallinn. Most of this group has never been back to Estonia or ever has been in Estonia. There are people going back here who fought against the Red Army. There are people in this delegation who have served time in Soviet gulags. This is an extremely emotional moment for many of us, and it's also an extremely dangerous moment, possibly. This is not a picnic we're going on, really. I think everyone thinks that now the borders are open and whatever, but the action potentially threatened by Moscow of stopping us all shows where the power still lies. We do not intend to go in and just turn around meekly and return. We will stay as long as possible in Tallinn Airport. If need be, we will undertake a hunger strike. In the spirit of Mahatma Gandhi and Martin Luther King, we will emulate our brothers and sisters in Soviet-occupied Estonia in peacefully asserting our right to go to Estonia and to act as free citizens of the world and as citizens of Estonia. We have lost our people through torture, deportation, outright murder. We do not want to secede. We want our freedom back. We want to reestablish our government. And we demand that instead of us paying the Soviets money to leave the empire, that the Soviets pay reparations to the Estonian people for all the harm that they've caused to us in loss of human lives, in destruction of our environment, and in the destruction of the Estonian spirit, which is still alive, but has suffered.
Meadow Curry, please.
Yeah, I'd just like to make a short statement and remind, especially Europeans, that 2 days after the puppet government asked to join Soviet Union, the United States of America was the first country not to recognize that illegal annexation and military occupation. And I'd like to remind the European countries in particular that it is also their duty to show the strengths of their governments and to wake up that Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania will be free. And it is rather shameful to see European politicians as cowards not trying to deal with the question of Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. The United States position has been steadfast, not as strong as we would like in actual activity, but it is still the only country that does speak up for the Baltic states in all the world's forums. And having been to the European Parliament and the Commission of Europe, I find it very, very odd that our neighbors lack the moral courage to recognize the independence and continuing independence of Baltic states. We hear a lot being said today that the Balts should keep quiet, that we are destabilizing the political situation. Well, why should Gorbachev remain in power on the backs of enslaved Balts? And I think the European governments in particular need to address that point. And I find even further irony in the fact that we are now talking German unification, which I support. But what about the crime committed by Germany, Hitler, and Soviet Union, Stalin, in enslaving these countries? Is it rather ironic that the free world supports German unification, but has anybody raised the point, let's free the Baltic states? I believe this is a moral obligation, and I have no fear of saying that we beg European governments, and particularly Sweden, as Mr. King already has pointed out, to stand on a moral high ground instead of whisper next to Gorbachev.
Ladies and gentlemen, Edmund Burke said that the only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. The Baltic states, the Baltic peoples, were part of the Western European tradition. We're trying to rejoin you. We've been trying to rejoin you for 50 years. Now, I don't care what certain politicians say about occupation or not, but the fact of the matter is that the troops, the over-militarized Baltic states, extremely over-militarized Baltic states, into which more troops are being right now transferred from Czechoslovakia and Eastern Europe, as though we needed more of them. I assure you, ladies and gentlemen, these are not our boys. These are foreign powers. If you are now to have people in Sweden, large garrisons, which do not speak your language, I would like to point out the fact to you that the Russian language is more closely related to Swedish as an Indo-European language than it is to Estonian. These are foreign troops on our soil, and we do not want them there.
To triumph then would be for good men and women to do something, and at least one good man and some good women are going to Estonia, even from Sweden. The leader of the Conservative Party, Mr. Carl Bildt, who is probably the Swedish politician who is most knowledgeable about the Baltic affairs, much more knowledgeable than most Balts in Sweden and other countries. He's going to the Estonian Congress, and also a number of liberal politicians with the party's vice chairman or chairwoman, Birgit Friggebo, who did she come right now? Oh, sorry, I didn't see you. Who's also because you hide yourself. Thanks. Another good men and women. Birgit, who is also very knowledgeable about Baltic affairs and also participated in the Baltic Peace and Freedom Cruise, for example. And I must say that we are very glad and impressed that you take your time, both Birgit and other liberal leaders and Carl Bildt, to show the solidarity with the Baltic nations to come to them.
Could I also add that we have an Austrian member of parliament, Dr. Arthold, here, who is also going to the Congress, and will have to leave in a few minutes probably.
I would like to ask you if you have a question for Mr. Arthold or Medok Ari or Marian Ricken to pose your questions now, because we're going to have to catch a taxi or a limousine to Arlanda within a very short time. Do you have any questions specifically directed to them? I would like to give you some information, give the press some information about what's going to happen. In the event that we do not gain access to Estonia, as Marianne Ricken says, the ones that are going by plane, here's Marianne's Soviet visa. We do have other people who are still having visa problems right now. This entire thing is very touch and go. We are ready for peaceful civil disobedience at the airport there. This entire thing is a singing revolution. We stress once again, we do not seek an encounter, we do not seek bloodshed, but we are determined. We're absolutely determined. Our energy is focused. I would like to tell you about what's going to happen in the event that we don't get into Estonia. Some of us may withdraw to Stockholm, but as many of this contingent as can is going to dig in Helsinki. We're living in the modern age. It was a lot of fun to do this entire preparatory phase because we have telefaxes, we have telephones, we've been in contact throughout the world with this electronic network, southern Sweden, California, the east coast of Washington, Tallinn, telefaxing this Congress together for the past 3 or 4 months. And we're going to continue to attempt to participate in the Estonian Congress by a long distance in Helsinki. I'd like to thank very much Mr. Meidel, Kari, and Mari and Rick, and they have to get on the road.
Silly to miss our plane.
But the press conference is going to continue, and there's still some important points to be made. The elections of the Estonian Congress. Otto von Habsburg from Austria, or rather, formerly of Austria, from Germany rather, was not allowed into Estonia to observe the elections of the Estonian Congress. And we also had, how do you pronounce this? Köffel's name. Niels Anker Köffel from Denmark. Go for it. Let's keep it down, please. We have a press conference going. I would like to give Mr. Juris Kaja, who is here, a chance to speak because we believe in Baltic solidarity. Mr. Juris Kaja is a Latvian journalist who is currently blocked from entry to Latvia. There's also a Citizens Committee's movement in Latvia. Juris.
Yes, I'll make my remarks in English, but maybe I can sit up here.
And feel free, if you have any questions, to answer in Swedish or Finnish or Estonian.
But I do also speak Swedish, and if anyone desires to speak to me afterwards from radio or television, I think I can speak passable Swedish or even German if necessary. The Latvian citizens movement has also been developing along similar lines to the one in Estonia for about a year now. The process of citizen registration has been going on, and I talked just yesterday, or was it perhaps the day before, to Einar Tsilinskis, the chairman of the secretary of the Latvian Citizens Committee Coordination Center in Riga, and there are 731,000 Latvian citizens now registered out of a republic population of around 2.7 million and an ethnic Latvian population of perhaps 1.4 million. Elections to the Latvian Citizens Congress will take place across Latvia in the period April 8th to the 23rd. And there only citizens will be able to vote. The Latvian Citizens Congress is scheduled for May 5th and 6th in Riga, Latvia. Latvia's Supreme Soviet elections will take place, as in Estonia, on March 18th. And all Soviet citizens in Latvia, including military units and persons who have migrated to Latvia with no previous connection to the country, will be eligible to vote in these elections. We now are able to Sweden, and therefore I think useful context for journalists
Estniska kongressen har inga stridskrafter och ingen materiell rikedom till sitt förfogande. Vi har ordet som vapen och inga rätter på vår sida och
till de här personerna som har valts till Estniska kongressen utfärdades från Moskva, från KGB i Moskva den 6 mars. Dessförinnan så hade dock alla de som inte har speciella svårigheter redan fått sina visa, så att det återstår att se huruvida de blir insläppta eller inte.
Further questions? I would like to say that our determination is Gandhi-like. Estonia and Latvia and Lithuania, as long as they're unfree, I'd like to express solidarity with the other Baltic states here. As long as they're unfree, you will not have justice in Europe. Europe will not have peace. I think we are seeing this Hans Christian Andersen phenomenon of saying that the emperor is wearing clothes when he's stark naked on the part of the rest of Europe, ostrich policies. But the fact of the matter is that as long as there's injustice, Europe will be unstable. And I think it's in the best interests of the Western countries and Western societies to support this grassroots democratic movement. Estonia is stepping quietly but democratically and resolutely towards freedom. And all we want is what you already have, what you already take for granted, what's been taken from us. Freedom and democracy, and we want an end to interference in our internal affairs. Lars or Hein, do you have a comment?
Jag vore glad över att kunna besvara frågor på svenska eller på tyska eller på engelska eller vad som helst. Och jag antar att det egentligen är er uppgift att fråga om det är ni är speciellt intresserade av mer än vår uppgift att ge er monologer om det och det.
Så kan vi gärna fråga vad mer precis som kongressen ska behandla. Vilka frågor, om det handlar om medborgarskap, vilka som ska få medborgarskap, ett självständigt Estland och hur självständighetsprocessen ska gå till och sådana saker.
Kongressen kommer att sammanträda under 2 dagar. Med förarbeten är redan gjorda och det finns ett kongressmaterial utdelat till samtliga delegater. Och det förbereder vi gemensamt igår också våra ställningstaganden till ett antal problem som kommer att tas upp där. Och det gäller självklart medborgarskapsfrågor, förhållandet till Sovjetunionen självfallet. Det kommer att skapas en delegation som kommer att förhandla. Det gäller också relationerna till högsta Sovjet som kommer att väljas om ett par veckor. Det gäller säkerligen också relationer till den så kallade säkerhetstjänsten, KGB, som nu alltså förvägrar oss inresevisum. Och ett antal kommissioner kommer att skapas för att fortsätta att arbeta i kongressens anda. Samtidigt kommer kongressen själv att strypas ner till en buljongtärningsstorlek. En 70 personers estnisk kommitté kommer att föra ärendena vidare. Så att vi siktar alltså inte bara på en enda kongress under 2 dagar utan den här politiska verksamheten kommer att fortsätta.